Hello, learners, students, viewers. Today I am going to make a video lecture on the Mahabharata. Students of degree first semester 2023-2024 must know that they have to study the English translation of the Mahabharata translated by J.A.B. Van Beatenham, Chicago, Brill, 1975. The students have to study the dicing in the Mahabharata, the sequel to the dicing in the Mahabharata, and the assembly hall in the Mahabharata. I shall make separate videos on each of the sections prescribed for students of degree first semester major core course 1 English honors. But before I talk about the dice in the Mahabharata, the sequel to the dice in the Mahabharata, and the assembly hall in the Mahabharata, I shall like to talk about the summary of the Mahabharata in brief, so that the learners, the students, can understand well what the dice is, what the sequel to the dice is, and what the assembly hall is. So, students, let me start with the summary of the Mahabharata. You know, the Mahabharata is the longest epic composed by Maharshi Ved Vyas. Maharshi Ved Vyas composed this long epic in the 2nd century BCE. There are 1 lakh shlokas or 2 lakh verses in the Mahabharata. There are 18 chapters in all. Each chapter deals with numerous shlokas, numerous verses. Now, let me begin the story of the Mahabharata. Shantanu was a famous king of Hastinapur. He was married to Ganga. Shantanu and Ganga had a son called Devbrat. Devbrat was very strong, wise, and skilled. When Devbrat became an accomplished prince, Shantanu went to a forest to hunt there, to pray there. When Shantanu was in the forest, he found a very beautiful girl over there. Her name was Satyavati. She was very beautiful, but she was a daughter of a low caste man. So Shantanu fell in love with with the beautiful girl, Satyavati. But her father refused to marry Satyavati to the king, Devbrat. The king returned home very desperately, disappointedly, and sadly. Devbrat became very sad to learn that his father was very sad and disappointed. On knowing the reason for the disappointment and sadness of his father, Devbrat resolved and vowed that he would never marry in his life. This is the reason Devbrat later came to be known as Bhishma Pitama because of his strong vow, a strong resolution. Devbrat, who came to be known as Bhishma Pitama, plays a very significant role in the Mahabharata. Now, one day, Devbrat brought Satyavati to the palace. She was satisfied with the vow and resolution of Devbrat that he would not marry. So she was sure that a son born to her would be the king of Hastinapur. After the marriage between Santanu and Satyavati, two sons were born. One son died in the skirmish with heavenly beings, and the other was Vichitravirj. Vichitravirj later became the king of Hastinapur. Now, Vichitravirj had two sons, Dhritrashtra and Pandu. Dhritrashtra married Gandhari. Dhritrashtra was blind from his birth. He had 100 sons and one daughter to Gandhari. As Dhritarashtra was blind, Gandhari also put a piece of cloth upon her eyes so that she could not see because of the blindness of her husband. Dhritrashtra had 100 sons and one daughter. Now Pandu was pale from the birth. So Pandu married Kunti and Madri. But as Pandu was pale and diseased, he could not beget sons. However, Kunti and Madri gave birth to 5 sons with the help of different gods. Now, his 5 sons include Yudhishthir. He was the elder son. He was true, truthful, and very religious. The second was Arjun. He was a great archer and wise son. Bhim was very strong and famous for Gada Yudh, fight with mace. Nakul and Sahdev were also skilled and able in different arts and skills. Now, the 100 sons of Dhritrashtra came to be known as Kauravas or Kauravas, and the 5 sons of Pandu came to be known as Pandavas. Now, a great fight takes place between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. It was the longest battle that the world witnessed. The battle lasted for 18 years. The battlefield was watered with the dead bodies from both the sides, Kauravas and the Pandavas. Many women became widows. There was a river of blood and bloodshed in the battlefield of the Mahabharata, that is known as Kurukshetra. Lord Krishna helps the Pandavas. Karna, who was one of the brothers of the Pandavas and who was born to Kunti and Pandu before Kunti was married. Karna was also very strong and a great archer. But he was denied education and learning by Dronacharya because of his low breeding, because of his birth in the lower caste, or disowned by Kunti herself because of the fear of the society. Now, a great war or battle took place between the Kauravas and the Pandavas due for becoming the king of Hastinapur. Dhritrashtra was very greedy and ambitious. He wished that his son Duryodhan became the king of Hastinapur. He treated Pandus unjustly because of the great discrimination between his own sons and the sons of Pandu. A great battle took place between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. In the end, all the sons of the Kauravas are killed and dead. Pandavas become victorious because of the help of Lord Krishna himself. The story is very long. However, I summed it up in a few minutes so that the students may grasp, understand the summary of the Mahabharata. I shall talk about the topics which are prescribed for the students from the Mahabharata, such as the dice, the sequel to the dice, and the assembly hall in the next classes. To conclude, the Mahabharata war is a war between the just and the unjust, between the justice and the injustice. In the end, the justice wins over the injustice. Thanks.